Well, Nabila Ramdani is a journalist and expert in Middle Eastern politics who's met and interviewed Gaddafi. Nabila, if we just go to that last interview first, I suppose it's inevitable when you've got such a kind of breakdown of a regime that there will be an element of lawlessness.
Well, absolutely. And I think Simon, who's just spoken, captured, the immediate concern in the post-Gaddafi era, if we can put it that way, is perhaps, the re-establishment or the management of security and indeed policing and law and order in general. And it seems that, even though the rebels have achieved a major triumph last night, there's no doubt about it, there is still pockets of resistance and ongoing battles and fierce infighting going on, not only in Tripoli, but also in areas outside Tripoli, carried out, by a hardcore of Gaddafi loyalists.
Yeah, we know that a lot of Gaddafi's family has now been captured. They haven't got Gaddafi himself. What would you expect him to do when he's cornered like this?
Well, having interviewed the man and knowing what he's like, given his character over the last few decades, he has been a pariah for years, and he's been quite comfortable in that role, I have to say. And at the beginning of the conflict, dare I say, the West put him straight back in that position. He became once again the hard man defying the West, and we've been hearing, all throughout this conflict, defiant messages until the very last minute, to the point that yesterday we feared a bloodbath in Tripoli and a bitter fight between rebel forces and Gaddafi loyalists, given the tone of his messages and and the tone of his whole clan, including Saif al-Islam, who appeared as defiant as his father on state television. And it was surprising, therefore, to see that there was in fact very little resistance from Gaddafi loyalists last night.
We know that there is a lot of fighting, although around his compound, so would you expect him, personally to go out in a kind of blaze of glory if the rebels appear?
No, I think he's definitely, trying to, he's fighting for his survival, his physical survival. I don't think, his regime, stands a chance of recovering from the blow from last night. But it's part and parcel of his character to never surrender. And it should be noted that to this day, he hasn't surrendered yet. He's still in power effectively, even though he's become a bit irrelevant now.
If the rebel groups do succeed in taking power, then is there a danger of civil war between the various rebel groups?
You're quite right to point to the fact that, even though the rebels have entered Tripoli, it hasn't been won completely. And the challenge is to hold down a city like Tripoli, which has been the bastion and the stronghold of the Gaddafi regime for 42 years. And you also quite right to say that, there is a real danger of seeing rivalries come to the fore even in a stronger manner. In all sorts of conflicts, there's inevitably a build-up of grievances, a desire for revenge, and there has been a build-up of rivalries even on the side of the people fighting Gaddafi. That's the nature of the Libyan society, tribal rivalries, regional rivalries, and we've heard the words of the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon just, not long ago. He's very well aware of these difficulties ahead, and that's why he called for reconciliation and inclusiveness.
Nabila Ramdani, thank you.